it's Theresa, and today is Crafting for a Cause. We're going to talk about our cause and our co-host in just a few minutes. I guess I'm going to give you a little hint of what the cause is. So I am making this really cute little hexagon bee stand-up thing. I am coating it with Mod Podge. I've already painted it in some linen white chalk paint, and I am going to do it section by section. I did print off this really cute little design from Creative Fabrica, and I also printed it on some tissue paper. Now, I am all about the bees and the being kind and all that. I love all of those. And this one is particularly special today because it's got the kind of like rainbowy looking wings, and that has got some significance for autism, and that is what today's cause is about autism awareness, and we'll talk more about that. But anyways, as I've already said, I guess, right? I'm going to just Mod Podge it down. Now, again, this is tissue paper. I've done a full thing on how to print it onto tissue paper, a few different videos. You know, I've been kind of obsessed with doing that lately, so I hope you guys like seeing it because you'll probably see more of it. So once I've let it dry completely, I am going to take my little mini heat press, and I'm just basically going to iron out some of those wrinkles. They're not too prevalent, they're not too bad, and it just kind of depends on how it is that you're putting it down. I have a few different ways I want to try out here in the future, but this is the way I went with it on this project at least. Once it is completely done with all of the ironing, I do take a little sandpaper and just kind of rough up off the edges, get it all, nice and smooth. And I'm going to take a little bit of antique wax and put it all around the outsides. I did not paint the outside rim of it, so this is kind of important to kind of disguise the slightly different hue of white, because I was not feeling particularly excited about painting the outside rim of it, I guess. I'll add a little bit of antique wax on all of the corners, and here it is all finished up. I think it's just super cute and just a nice little thing to remind you about being kind. So like I mentioned, today is all about autism awareness. Now, I have Autism Services is our charity of choice here today because my co-host, Tammy from Happiness Created, actually chose Autism Services in connection with Easter Seals. It's a local organization to her, and it is very special to her, and I'll have it linked for you below if you want to check it out. All of my ad revenue from today's video will go towards that charity. Now we're going to make a lovely little bee tray, and I just printed this one off of my Cricut, and I put it on some of this stencil vinyl that I got. It is a Cricut smart stencil vinyl. It's pretty new, so this is actually my first time trying it out, and I am going to be using it in a video coming up as well, so you will see it again. And it worked better than I had expected. I was worried because sometimes the stencil vinyl is very plasticky. That's the word I was looking for. It's very plasticky, and sometimes so is the smart materials. They have a plastic backing. They're a lot harder to deal with. I will be really honest with you. I hop on the struggle bus and getting this all off. And of course, I'm doing this on this little tray that I got from the Target Dollar Spot, and it's got a lot of texture to it. It's not the easiest test for this stencil vinyl. What I would probably recommend, because the actual transfer tape that I am using on it right now is not a Cricut one. That's my favorite one that I get from, I believe it's Easy Vinyl. That sounds right. Maybe I will link it below. That's my favorite roll of transfer tape. I do when I do Cricut videos, I do have to use their materials, obviously, and they I prefer it with this over the Cricut one, just to be completely honest. And eventually, though, I do get it to come off. And again, this isn't really that fair of a test, but that's okay. I am going to go in with some Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, and I'm just going to go through and blot it and just really fill in all of those little areas with the black. You can choose to kind of mix up into different colors and make it a little different. At first, I thought maybe I would hold out the outline of the bee and come back and do some color on it, but I decided I kind of liked the neutral look of it, and I'm glad I did, because other than our first project that had a lot of color, everything else has a lot more of that neutral or muted tone. So I think it's kind of cool, and that first project is really going to stand out within like this little grouping. And these are all going to kind of go in my office. I am Theresa B, so it kind of seems fitting, right? It makes sense, at least to me. I hope that you all like these projects though. I have a bee video that I did last year, and a lot of you have been watching it lately, so I think you guys are still into the bees. You'll have to let me know what your favorite like spring summery kind of theme is. If you're like a nautical person, if you like the bees, if you like the lemons, citrus, whatever. I'm curious, what is your favorite stuff? Now I will pull off all of the excess on here, and then we are going to basically be done. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. I can't help it though. So I apparently needed you to watch all of it on here. It does come off pretty nicely. It's not too difficult, and I didn't really have too much in the way of the bleeding. So here it all is though. I expected a lot more bleeding just because it is a very rough surface as far as like what the paint is coming on. And I am going to go through and just give it a quick little sanding just to kind of tone down all of the black lines. But here it is, cute as can be. Again, on purpose. Sorry, I can't help myself. I'm so corny sometimes. All right, I've got this little dish from the Dollar Tree. I have had it sitting in my stash for a while. I'm going to paint the top part of it in the linen white chalk paint, and funny enough, it is in a big cup like that right there because I spilt like a good quarter of the can on my patio. If you saw my last video with all the patio projects, I was attaching my little birds to the top of my baker's rack. And when I came down, I kicked the bucket of paint over. Oh, I was mad. I was mad. So I scooped a lot of it up and put it in that little cup. I've got another piece. I basically just printed all of these things out on one sheet of paper that was attached to that the tissue paper was attached to, and just went crazy with it. So a lot of these projects today have a tissue paper printing on it. But I think they all came out really cute. It's a cute way to really kind of embrace, getting a graphic and being able to attach it to something other than just using a Cricut. I'm going to do a coating of Mod Podge on this little ceramic bottom. It is it's like an ivory color. It's not totally white, but it is very glossy. So I thought if I added the Mod Podge, it's going to help me kind of tone down some of that. And you'll see in a second what we'll do. I thought I had it all together, but I don't. I'm taking just a little bit of water and going all around the edge to pull off all of our excess. I think it's a nice fun way to do it because it kind of rips it a little bit. It's going to give it a little more rustic of a look. And then if I have any spots that I can't really seem to tear off, I'll just wipe it down a little bit with the water, and it's going to make it stick to the rim. And then I'm taking some of that water and I'm wiping away a little bit of the paint because underneath is that gold color. So it kind of gives it a little something different. I thought it was just a cute little touch, and here in a minute we're going to add our, antique wax, and that will kind of bring it all together because we're going to do the antique wax right here on the top, and then we're also going to do the antique wax on the bottom part. So just a quick little brushing of it just to kind of break it up, make it look a little bit aged and just a little bit more rustic. It just makes it cute, right? It just adds cute little details to it. Now, recently I did buy a few different waxes. One's black, one's really dark, one's teal. If you missed my last video, I used a few of them. I'll link it for you below because it's super fun. But here's how it turned out. It's just a cute little dish to leave little bits of things on. Sometimes I take my rings off when I craft so I don't get them all messed up. So now on this graphic, I got a part of it from the Graphics Fairy and a part of it from Creative Fabrica. So I will have this one listed below in case you want to print it out on your own, and you can do it on the tissue paper or you could just print it out on a sheet of paper. It's, I think, sized probably to like a full-size sheet of paper. So just be aware of that if you go to print it out. It's not going to print this small. And I will just get all of those little edges off. And I thought at first I was going to make it into a little beaded garland, like a little tag garland. Then, I don't know, I saw this little dish, this little canister. It has lost its lid. The lid is somewhere, who knows where. And I thought that that would be super sweet to put on there. And so I'm just going to Mod Podge that on there. If you're doing Mod Podge on top of glass, just remember that it's probably going to give whatever whatever item, like the tissue paper, is going to give it a little bit different of a tone. So it'll be a little bit darker. If you want your image that's on your tissue paper to really pop and be very prevalent, you're going to want to paint whatever you're putting it on top of. That's why a lot of times I will paint my background white. It really makes the image that's on the tissue paper really pop, especially if it's got a lot of color. This one though, I like the more muted tones. Again, I was saying, like, I really like these really fun, pretty muted tones that just kind of tones everything down and just makes it very subtle and just gives everything kind of like a different, like, shabby chic kind of touch. Here it is. I thought it was super cute to add the little lighting. I thought that was just a cute little touch to add. Now we're on to our last one. I have already done the Mod Podge. I just did this little Mod Podge on my, I had a bee that I actually did way back in a video. I had it looking completely different. And I just painted it white real quick, and then I Mod Podged on a piece or a napkin. I removed the, you know, the double-sided thing, the extra part of it on the back. I don't know why I can't think of the right word. And then I'm doing the same thing with my little iron just to get out the wrinkles, and it's going to kind of like reactivate some of that glue underneath to help smooth it out as well. I am co-hosting a napkin exchange coming up in a couple of weeks, and you're going to see all kinds of different napkin projects. It's really going to be a lot of fun. Make sure that you keep your eye out for that. Make sure, if you're not subscribed already, that you subscribe and ring the bell so that you get notified whenever I upload a video. That way you can check it out, see what kinds of fun things I'm creating. I am going to go through and get all of the edges off, and I do cut the little circles in the middle to try and get some of that off as well. I have seen the technique where people take a lighter to it, like once the Mod Podge is still wet. I have not gotten the guts up to do it yet. Hopefully, maybe in the napkin video. Maybe in the napkin video, I'll give it a try. I'm a little worried I'm going to burn my house down. I'm going to take that different wax that is from the brand DIY wax, DIY paint. I don't know. I can't remember what exactly it is called, but DIY something like Debbie's something or other. Anyways, this one is, I think, in the color black. I have black and I have dark. They look very close. But I'm just going to do a pretty heavy brushing all around the outside edges of my bee, just to kind of give it a little something else. Plus, I think I had a little bit of the paint drip down on the sides of it, so I just wanted to kind of hide that a little bit, to be really honest, just to hide it. But it's going to go on my door to my craft room, and that way everyone knows it's Theresa B's craft room. Like my family didn't know that, but that's okay. So that is the end of our video. Nice, quick, short, to the point today. And do not forget to go check out the playlist. That is all of our Crafting for a Cause playlist contributors today. And check out Tammy's page, and all of our information for our cause will be down in the description box. I hope you guys have a great and wonderful day, and I will see you next time.